Now back to the topic in question, being productive. We've all been there, feeling like there's just too much to do and not feeling like you want to do it or not knowing where to begin. And look, I'm like anybody else. I love procrastinating to watching YouTube videos, and sometimes if things feel like it's just too much, I'll take a nap. But I can say with confidence that the majority of the time, I'm a very productive person. And this is not a talent, it's not a trait I was born with, it's something that I learned. I learned it from my mentors, from dozens of audiobooks, from blog posts, from trial and error, from putting it into practice. So that's the purpose of this video. I want to share with you some of the things that have helped me to be more productive in hopes that it might help you too. So let's get started. Sometimes we learn new things but fail to put them into practice. Productivity is not just about knowledge, it's about application of that knowledge. Of course, you only need to utilize those items or topics that you think might actually help you in achieving greater productivity. Use your morning to focus on the most important thing of them all. You. Checking your emails or your calendar first thing can only drain your energy and your feel-good vibes. Before you dive into it all, make sure that you're getting in a wholesome breakfast or doing anything else that's important to make you feel refreshed in the morning. This can be meditating, working out, adding to your gratitudes list, or snuggling with a pet or partner. Whatever it is, start your day strong by focusing on your number one priority, which is you above all else. I owe the person I've become to two different things, my family and audiobooks. I cannot begin to tell you how powerful audiobooks have been for me in my life. For me, it's like having a professional life coach on demand. Nothing quite increases my productivity like when I'm listening to self-improvement books written by some of the most influential people in the world. For the last 3 years, I've been using the app Audible to listen to my books, so when they reached out to kindly support and sponsor this video, it should go without saying that I was thrilled. I especially love listening to motivational books when I'm exercising in the morning. The endorphin rush combined with uplifting messages always gets me so excited to get back to work and to power through it all with vigor. And if it's a day when I don't feel like exercising, I'll just spend 5 or 10 minutes while I'm in bed or getting breakfast ready listening to something uplifting. I also like listening to audiobooks when I'm in the car or cleaning or doing laundry. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing even more when I'm doing mundane tasks. If you too feel like this is something that could help to increase your productivity or motivation, go to audible.com/pickuplimes for an exclusive 30-day free trial, plus you get a free book of your choice. If I can personally recommend a book, I would say Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. My sister recommended it to me. I am so thankful that she did. I've listened to this book at least 3 times, and I would not have started Pickup Limes if it wasn't for the words of encouragement I heard every morning in this book. Creating a ritual around your most productive time can really help you to get into a flow state. So consider the environment or the mood that you might be able to create. For me personally, I can't work at a desk that's really messy or cluttered. So my ritual includes creating a clear space, putting on some instrumental calm music, and having a drink by my side. This could be something like tea or a carbonated water with a splash of juice. When these things are combined, I enter this autopilot mode that lets me know it's time to get things done. Getting things done doesn't mean squeezing as many items as possible into your already jam-packed day. I mean, do you really need 40 items on your to-do list? Instead, let's try a less is more approach by accomplishing those things that really matter. But how do you know which things really matter? The Matrix. Not the movie, that would be procrastinating again. Using the PDF or drawing it on a notepad or whiteboard, you're going to create the Eisenhower decision matrix. One axis is labeled importance, the other axis is labeled urgency. Now all you want to do is take the items that are on your to-do list and categorize them based on whether they're high or low in their importance or urgency. So for example, you might have a chemistry test in 2 days. It's urgent because it's fast approaching, and it's important because you care about your grades, hopefully. In the second quadrant, you might put something like responding to emails. It's something that's of high importance to do, but might not be so urgent. Returning a t-shirt might be urgent based on the store's return policy, but it might not be so important. You get the idea. Once you've categorized all the items, recreate your to-do list with only a select few items that are of the highest priority that you need to tackle first. This is something I do all the time on my whiteboard at home. It allows me to be more effective at getting the most crucial things done first, and that's always a very rewarding feeling. Let's create a more productive way of managing your time. One suggestion that really works for me is to knock off as many of the challenging, high priority items as possible before noon when you've still got the energy. Then you can save things like meetings or more mindless busy work for later in the afternoon or evenings when you've started to run out of some steam. I used to get distracted responding to emails all day long, and it can really ruin your productivity. So another tip is to get into the habit of scheduling certain times when you manage your inbox. Anytime outside of that, consider your inbox out of service. The same can be said for any social media that you might use. In this way, you're not getting distracted and you can focus on accomplishing those goals that really matter throughout the day. Now that you've scheduled when to check your emails, you want to also make sure that you're scheduling breaks. Breaks are so important to productivity. You need to recharge. This can be something like going for a short walk or grabbing a bite to eat or even a healthy snack to replenish your glucose stores. And keep in mind that glucose is what your brain prefers as its energy source, so something like some fruit or crackers with hummus should do the trick. In this way, you'll come back recharged and ready to achieve things with greater efficiency. It's not about creating items on your to-do list and then crossing them off. It's also about recognizing the accomplishments you've made, writing them down, and making them visible. If you can't see how far you've come or the accomplishments that you've made, then what's the reward really? So nothing is ever just crossed off my to-do list, never to be seen again. If it gets crossed off, it just means that it's added to the accomplishments list, something you can look back at with pride. And sometimes I'll even add things to my accomplishments list that wasn't necessarily a to-do item. Seeing the accomplishments, regardless of what they might be, give you more motivation to continue to be productive. At least that's how it is for me. I've asked you this before, I'm gonna ask you it again. What is your why? Sometimes when we focus on the list of all the things that need to be done, it can be a bummer. So instead, let's shift our focus to some of those more feel-good feelings. So why is it that you want to be productive? For me personally, I love to get things done. Not because I have a strong willpower, but rather because I have a strong why power. And if you find the work that you're doing isn't intrinsically rewarding on its own, then perhaps you can create your own reward of sorts. This could be something like watching your favorite TV show or spending some time with friends once the task is completed. Mornings can be a source of stress for a lot of people. Rushing to get ready so that you can head out the door, or thinking about all the things that need to be done in that day. For me personally, mornings are my favorite part of the day, and by adopting these 10 healthy morning habits, I think it might become yours too if it isn't already. I'm adamantly against rushing in the morning. I think how our day begins Enjoying breakfast on your own, no problem. You can fill out the questions found on the downloadable PDF. The questions to answer: what am I thinking? How am I feeling emotionally and why? How am I feeling physically? What are my 2 intentions for the day? What are 2 things I'm grateful for? And what is 1 thing that could increase my happiness today? By checking in daily with what's going on inside of you, you'll have more control and understanding on what's going on around you. Some people recommend drawing up a plan or a to-do list for your day in the morning, but personally, I prefer to do that the night before. That way I can hit the ground running. Instead, I spend a couple of minutes in the morning reviewing this list and actually visualizing what I'm going to get done for the day. Visualization is an extremely powerful tool, so if you can dedicate even a minute or 2 to actually playing out a movie in your mind's eye of the things that are important for you to get done in the day, they're more likely to happen. Prepping your snacks for the day in the morning means that you'll be less likely to graze throughout the day or reach for unhealthy, convenient foods when hunger strikes. Cut up some fruit so it's ready to eat, portion out some nut butter and crackers, or set aside some dried fruit like figs or dates so they're on hand when you need something to keep your energy up. I mentioned this in a previous video and a habit that I certainly live by. So try getting into the habit of clearing the surfaces in your home before you leave for the day. Clear the kitchen counter, dining table, coffee table of any clutter, and do the dishes too. By doing this, even if you've had a really long and stressful day, you know that you can come home to a clean space. You might have heard about this important thing called exercise. Don't worry, I'm not about to preach to you to start. I mean, you know it's useful to do, and if it's something you haven't already started, then maybe we just need to try a new approach. Remember that the scariest part is always just before you begin. Try starting by just getting some fresh air. Step out onto the balcony or have your tea in the yard in the morning. If that gets too easy, then get off the bus 1 stop early and walk the extra bit, or try biking to work or school if possible. If the weather's stopping you, try doing some light stretching inside. Little changes made in increments are going to get you closer to an active morning in no time. And if you're somebody who prefers to exercise in the evening, it's still important to get a little bit of fresh air or maybe some light stretching in the morning if you can. And there you have it, 10 healthy morning habits. I hope that you found them helpful.